Uh, I brought a tackle box with some of my favorite sight fishing lures this morning. We're going to talk about these in a little while. You'll notice it's pretty sparse. Okay, it's pretty sparse because when I'm sight fishing, I've got a pretty limited set of tackle that I really spend most of my time with, and we're going to talk about that. You know, the average bass angler is in search of what I would call the magic lure. Okay, and they feel like that if I can just figure out what the magic lure is, it's going to solve all my fishing problems, and I'll be an expert. But unfortunately, the magic lure, it just doesn't exist. The magic lure is whatever happens to be working today. Our lures are nothing more than tools in our box. Okay, just no different than a carpenter. And if you're gonna be hammering shingles onto a roof, you're not going to be up there doing it with a screwdriver. You're going to be using a hammer. So it's important to learn to use the right tools. For me, sight fishing, my tool belt is pretty limited. Okay, so we're gonna get in and talk about that a little bit. And so let's talk about one of the most important things, and that is fish where the fish are. All right, and I don't mean to insult your intelligence with that, but there's three things in bass fishing, and especially in sight fishing, that are really important. Okay, location, location, and location. All right, and it's not just sight fishing. That's any kind of bass fishing. We're going to talk about it specifically as it relates to the spawn today. But I don't care who you are. You can be the greatest angler in the world. Okay, and I'll give that nod right now to Jacob Wheeler. But I can take him and I can put him in a place where there's no bass, and how many is he going to catch? Well, he'd probably get a limit. But the rest of us, if we're not around fish, we're not going to catch anything. So fishing where the fish are is super, super important. So how do I find areas that I want to sight fish in? So first of all, there's a few things and conditions that I need to find the right area. And that usually requires covering water. A lot of times I'm going to unfamiliar places. Now, let me tell you, sight fishing, if you're in that frame of mind, is one of the easiest patterns to get on an unfamiliar body of water. Okay, because you're going along with your sunglasses in places where you can see down there, and if you don't see a bass, you don't stop. So it's literally that easy. I'm looking for fish that I can see. Now, some of the things that I need to have clear water. Okay, how clear water do I need? Well, the clearer the better, to some degree. But you don't have to have nearly as clear water as you might think in order to sight fish successfully. Can I sight fish in water that's a foot visibility? Absolutely. Okay. Can I sight fish in water that has 6 inches of visibility? That gets a little marginal, but yes, you can do it. Okay. It just takes a little bit of adjustment on your part. Now, if you can see down 5 or 6 feet in the water, pretty much anybody can sight fish. I actually love the tournaments that set up where the water's a little bit dirtier, and most people will avoid the sight fishing game altogether. Now, one thing you have to realize, in general, the dirtier the water is, the shallower the fish will spawn. The dirtier the water is, the shallower the fish will spawn. We can go down to Lake Amistad, and sometimes on a calm day with the sun out there, you can make out rocks on the bottom and 20 feet of water. I can drop a tube down there and I can see my tube. Well, the reason I can't see it is because it's 20 feet away from me.